Hi, welcome to the Fire Mountain Gems and Beads Jewelry Making Studio. My name is Rose, and today I'm going to share an awesome Kumihimo technique with you. We've got some other videos available online for you to look at, but this one is a 12-strand Kumihimo, and we're going to add a wire wrapping element to it. For this technique, you're going to need some cord. Don't limit yourself to just this satin cord. You can use any kind of cord for Kumihimo. We're going to use some silver-plated findings, some wire, and we're going to make this gorgeous bracelet. This is really fun, so let's get right into it. And if you want specifics on what kind of materials we're using for this bracelet, you can go online and find the materials list with all the item numbers and everything so you can order them for yourself. So I'm going to use 4-foot lengths of this cord. So far I have the purple and the green. I'm going to add in some of this orange or sunflower or whatever you want to call it. I'm also using my awesome spool tamer here to pull out my cord. If you have a nest of cord in your supply tub, use a spool tamer. They're awesome for all kinds of cord. And I'm just going to use the cord I have already as a template to measure out 4-foot lengths. I need 2 of each color for this. 1 length and 2 lengths. So I have 2 of the orange, 2 of the green, and 2 of the purple. Now I'm really going to cheat on this one because I told you it's a 12-strand technique and I've only got 6 strands here. Well, that's because we're just going to fold those babies in half. There we go. Now I've got 12 strands. I'm going to take a small length of wire, 6 inches, something like that. And it is time to put the glasses on. There we go. And I'm going to create a wrap loop on this one by making a 90-degree bend. Using my round nose pliers, I'll make the loop. Then I'm going to wrap that loop over my cords. And we do have a video available for more specific instructions on how to make those wrap loops if this wasn't enough for you to remember. Okay, then I wrap that loop all the rest of the way around. And then using my pliers here, I'm going to wrap around the stem. Now I don't really care too much how this looks because we're going to cover it all up. I just want it nice and secure. It doesn't have to be pretty. Trim off that extra little bit, making sure I don't get a cameraman. There we go. And if you're using sterling silver, save that bit. It's great for a little melting, a little bit more sterling silver activity, just to save money. Okay, so now I have 12 2-foot lengths of cord. That's going to go down through the center of my disc, and I'll start placing the cords. I'm thinking of these in pairs. So I'm going to put 2 greens up here, and on the opposite side of the disc, I will put the other 2 greens. And I don't really care what numbers they're on. It's not that important. Just as long as they're opposite each other. Same with the purple. I'm going to choose about 1/3 of the way around. Don't even care where they are, but as long as they're opposite each other. 2 purples there, 2 purples on the opposite side. 2 oranges here, 2 oranges on the opposite side. So that I can think of these as pairs. Now the technique for this one is I'm going to take one from my right on the bottom. I'm going to go right across the disc and leave it on the right on the top of this green set. Take one from the top, my left, and bring it down to my left on the bottom. Rotate one set. I'm working on the purple now. Same thing. From the right bottom to the right top. From the left top to the left bottom. Rotate. Right bottom, right top, left top, left bottom. We're going to keep doing that until we have the entire length of the bracelet done. So here we go. Right bottom, left top, right bottom, left top. And this is an awesome activity to do while you're just sitting relaxing, watching TV or watching the snow fall. But I do want to caution everybody that if you want to take a pause in the action to pet your cat or go make a sandwich, what I like to do is always make sure I have one set of my cords set up this way. 3 here, 1 here. You will always remember where to start again. So I know I have to start here because I have 3 up there. I move it down. It's a great little tip to remind you now. Some instructional books will tell you to put a little mark on your Kumihimo disc. Well, if you do a lot of Kumihimo, you're going to end up with a lot of marks on your Kumihimo disc. So my method to remember where I stopped is to leave it in that position right there. I know I need to start with the orange coming down. And this, and even the choice of starting from the right or the left or wherever, doesn't matter so much as long as you're consistent. And you just keep doing it the same way every single time. My braid's already starting to form. Okay, I'm going to do a few more of these, and then we'll just relax and get into it. You know, surprisingly, I haven't been working at this very long yet, and I've already got a good sized braid going. Let me show you how far I've gotten so far. Oh, it's starting to form. You can see it there. Little nub of a tail. We're going to keep going. Come back and see where we're at. And look at that. I did it myself. I didn't leave myself at 3, but I know where I am. There we go. So we're moving along great, and look at how far I've gotten. This has been, maybe 8 minutes I've been working on that. It doesn't take very long, and this is a nice thick cord. So there's where we are. Come back and see me again in a few more minutes when I've got it all done. And I've got this amount of cord just right. Look at that. Now, this cord's fairly inexpensive, so it's not a big deal if you use extra, but I could even put in, you know, if you accidentally cut one of your cords a little bit short and you're having trouble slipping it into the side of the disc, you can see how short these are getting. You can actually tie another piece of cord on there, and you won't use the tied piece, but that helps you have something to have a grip on and keep going if your cord was a little short. So you can use this cord all the way down to nothing. Well, I think that's long enough. Now we're going to start weaving in a head pin. Okay, so here we are. I think this is long enough now. And what I'm going to do now is start weaving in a head pin into the other end of this bracelet. And I'm just going to, an ordinary head pin, and the important thing is that head is what's going to hold everything in place. So I'm going to put this down inside of my braid. If I need to, I'll use a little plier and make it get down in there. And now I'm going to go ahead and weave around it and make sure that it's in there securely. I'm doing this nice and tight. I don't want to lose that head pin. And I'll do this, 8 or 9 times or so, till I think that head pin is nice and secure in there. That's pretty good. I'm going to go a couple more times just to make sure. give me something to work with here. There we go. Nice. So that head pin's in there. Now I want to tie all these cords off so that they don't come loose on me. Okay, I'm going to use a little length of this Kumihimo thread, very thin little black thread. It also is not going to show. It's just there to tie everything together for me. And I'll make a loop out of that and put it over the end of my braid, all the way down until I get down to that neck where I wove in the head pin. All the way down. Pull that really nice and tight. All the way down. All the way down. Nice and tight. And now I can take this off my disc. There's my thread. I want that super, super tight. So I'm going to hold one piece and I'm going to wrap the other one around really tight. I want it so tight that the head of that head pin can not pop out of my cords. You can see by the whiteness of my fingernails how tight I'm making that thread. Urgh. Throttle this little cord. And then I will tie a knot. I'm going to secure this knot with some glue, so I'm not too worried about making some fancy bowline knot or some fancy schmoogloo knot. This is just going to be a granny knot. Here, I'll improvise. I'll make it into a surgeon's knot. There we go. Nice and tight. Confirm that thread, that wire is in there good. Not gonna come out. Okay. Now I can trim all this excess cord. And I'm very careful about this. I don't want to trim that black thread. I just want to trim the cord. I don't want to accidentally trim that head pin. Just the cord. So I tend to do them one at a time just to make sure I'm not messing it up. Okay. Get that out of my way. Now at this point we could be practically done. We could just put a cone on it, make a loop, add the clasp. But we want to add that wire wrapping element that we have in this bracelet. So let me show you how I basically make a cone out of this wire. Are y'all with me? Let's start this second section right now. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is to make a wrapped loop here. I'm looking to see how long a cone I want. I think that's good. Right there. I'm going to make my 90-degree bend. Create a loop. And you can see that technique on how to make wrapped loops in other videos. If you didn't get it from what I just did, wrap that around this stem. This one's going to show, so I want it to look pretty. Go. Trim off the excess. And do that on the other side as well. We want it to be about the same, equidistant as the other one. So I'm going to put a bend right about there. Create the loop. Reposition my pliers. Finish the loop. And then wrap it. Whoa, hello, hitchhiker. Trim that excess wire. Okay, so there's our bracelet with loops on it. This can be a little tricky. This is sort of beginning wire wrapping techniques though. First thing to do is to get that wire wrapping started. Wrapping something tight around the top here. There we go, got it nice and tight, and I'm just gonna start wrapping it down. It's important to think when you're wrapping wire, not so much as moving the wire as smoothing the wire down where you want it to be. So I'm not really wrapping the wire, I'm pushing the wire down against my piece. And I've gotten to the point now where I can take that extra little nib off. And I'm just going to keep pushing that wire down. And you can see this isn't supposed to be perfect. It's supposed to be sort of free form and rustic, you might call it, primitive. Make it the way you want it to look. You can make it all neat and tidy if you want. Or you can just let it be free form and reflect your wild side. As I get down to the actual cord end, I'm going to start wrapping around the cord itself. And I work directly off the spool. I couldn't tell you exactly how much wire I use. I just work directly off the spool. This is a fairly inexpensive wire. You might want to practice a few times with the inexpensive wire before you go to sterling silver or silver filled. But here we go. We're getting a nice little cone to cover up the end of our braid. And now I think that's far enough. I'm going to start to make the spiral. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to keep wrapping, but I'm going to give a little more space. Try and keep it pretty equidistant. But it's super easy. It's not very hard wire, this zebra wire. And when you need more, pull out some more wire. Keep on going. You could make this looser, you could make it even more free-form, you could put some zigzags in it if you wanted. Don't limit yourself to what you're seeing here. Use your creativity and make it your own. Ta-da! Now as we get down to this other end, I want to start thinking cone-like. Start thinking a cone, because we're going to want to start getting those wires closer and closer together. So now I'm going to start putting the wires together so that they're actually up against each other to form that cone. Need a little bit more wire. Pay attention to that wire tamer. That's a cool thing. I have a nest, a rat's nest of cords and stuff at my home until I buy enough spool tamers to fill them all up. And we're thinking cone here. So I'm making a cone-shaped pile of wire. I want to cover up as much of the cord as possible. I don't want to see cord. I want to see wire. And if I have to go back over the top, then I'll go back over the top. Again, it's sort of free form, sort of rustic, primitive, and lovely. Here we go. I get up to the very end. I like the way the two ends look. I'm going to cut that off right there. And I might use another pair of pliers. Just refine that little end just a little bit. Make sure you don't have any sharp edges that are going to poke out and grab your sweater. Now all we need to do is add the clasp and that little bit of safety chain. And I'm going to basically make an extender chain, excuse me, that's the correct term. Make an extender chain using jump rings. So I'm going to use an oval jump ring and put 2 of these little round jump rings on it. It just looks more attractive. Make it pretty. And attach it there and close my jump rings. We have more videos on the proper way to close jump rings as well. There we go. Another oval. Put on 2 rounds. The nice thing here, the only ones you have to open up are the ovals. You can just leave the round ones closed. Add that on there and close the jump ring. Another oval. And 2 rounds. Two rounds. And add it on the end. You can make that extender chain as long or as short as you want. You can even make this for an anklet if you wanted to, just depending on how long you want to make it. Make it the size to go on a man's wrist, a lady's wrist, or a kid's wrist. It's up to you. Close that one up. I think that's long enough for this one. I'm going to add just one more to add the charm on the end. I'm using this little star, but of course personalize it for what you would like. Add the little star. There we go. And all we need is the clasp on the other end. Just one more oval jump ring. And the clasp. And there you have it. A completed 12-strand, wire-wrapped Kumihimo bracelet. I hope you like that a lot. For full written instructions and the list of the materials, follow the link below. And I've really enjoyed teaching this project. Happy beading!